Good evening. We'll call the village board meeting to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Gust.
Here.
Trustee Jensen.
Right here.
Trustee Miller.
Present.
Trustee Siddick is absent. Trustee Wells. Attorney Ferrolo. Mayor Hucker.
Here.
And Clerk McDonald is present.
All right. If you would all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're gonna have to say stand if able one of these days.
Stand if able. All right. First up is public comment on agenda items. This would be an opportunity for public to address any items on the agenda tonight. Later on in the agenda, we do have another opportunity for any and all comers. Does anyone wish to address agenda items tonight? All right. This will be at the end. The general public comment will be at the end. Yeah. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda tonight, which includes the following items. Approval of the village board regular meeting minutes from January 9th, 2025. Bills presented for payment in the amount of $448,046.27. The December finance report and the December community development report. Is there anything that the board would have us to consider separately? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Gus, second by Trustee Miller for the consent agenda. Any discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Gust.
Aye.
Trustee Jensen.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Wells. Mayor Hucker.
Aye. All right. Only thing I have tonight under the mayor's report is it snowed, and the public works guys did it again. So it's a little frustrating because we keep getting these 2 inches here and 4 inches there, but they're getting the job done, and appreciate it as always. Moving on to reports from trustees. First up, we've got the Finance Committee, Trustee Jensen.
Mayor, our next meeting will be on the 18th, and upstairs 6 p.m. And our finance department and the staff have been working on budget. I've seen the preliminary budget worksheets and have had not much to say about them. They look pretty good, pretty clean. And that process is moving forward. And we will go over some of the items that appeared in the packet tonight.
Okay,
That's all I have.
thank you. Next up, Parks and Recreation, Trustee Gust.
Thank you, Your Honor. No report tonight.
Thank you. Building, Planning, and Zoning Committee, Trustee Wells. All right. This will be one of those streamlined meetings. Trustee Miller, Public Relations and Intergovernmental Agreements.
Nothing really going on there either at the moment. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day for anybody that didn't know. Hope all your men watch your Valentine's.
All right. Trustee Siddick is not here. We'll move on to Public Works, Trustee Miller.
Well, I was going to thank Public Works. Public Works report. Just yesterday, 4 or 5 p.m., I saw two different trucks go up in my neighborhood, up and down the streets. Really appreciate the proactive approach. There was no way to tell, was there, what was going to happen? You listen to the weather, a lot of it's hype, but maybe not all of it.
Yeah.
It went out from until 8 o'clock. At that point, we figured we better take a break. Came back in at 4 this morning, made another good run. It had gotten colder on us, so it got a little bit hard back. But once the sun came out,
That was nice, yeah.
Definitely.
Little bonus. Well, there may be more opportunities, as we know. Yeah, but we do appreciate the job. you guys
Definitely.
do. Yeah, that's all I have.
All right. There was nothing to report from the TIF committee as we did not meet. Item 6, staff reports. Looks like we've got a resolution for a settlement agreement with Clear Channel. Nimrod, you want to introduce that?
Yeah, so, is this working? Yep. Jim will probably handle some of the discussion, but essentially what staff has done is we're looking at the inventory of the remaining billboards within the community. There are 4 offsite advertisements that are still remaining in the community, 2 of those being Clear Channels. Jim had reached out to Clear Channel, and I'll let him discuss the settlement agreement.
Sure. The resolution before the board approves a settlement agreement with Clear Channel to remove the last 2 remaining Clear Channel billboards in Beach Park. One will be removed as of November 19th of 2026. The other February 6th, 2029. The November 19th, 2026 date is the end of the current lease of the billboard that's on Sheridan Road. The February 6th, 2029 date is a date that's 4 years prior to the end of the second lease, and it's a compromise date. The village does not allow billboards pursuant to the village code. And the village has been attempting to remove these 2 billboards for several years. The village reached out to, prior to my time, to the owner of the property on Sheridan Road in 2015. And the village code provides for an amortization period for billboards, which most codes provide for. I think at the time, the administrator was John Kinseth. He sent a letter to the Sheridan Road owner indicating that they had 5 years to amortize or remove the billboard. The problem with the amortization program is that the law has kind of changed. And the appellate court in Illinois has said that amortization is not enough. Removal of a billboard is much like it's like a taking. If you compare it to eminent domain, if the state was to come and take your land, they have to give you just compensation. Billboard companies make money off of billboards, right? They sell advertising. So what the courts have said is you have to reach a number relative to just compensation, and that depends on how much life is left in the lease, what the lease terms are, what the advertising revenues are, and that no longer are simple amortization periods. Okay. Clear Channel back in 2015 and in 2020 said we don't agree with the codes as you have them. We think they violate both state and federal law. The Illinois Appellate Court, in some regards, was in support of their argument. And it becomes a factual determination, what's just compensation. I got involved in 2024, roughly, with Nimrod, helping Nimrod. And I wrote some letters to Clear Channel, and I argued that Clear Channel, it looked like they had been extending their leases in light of some of these notices, which you can't do. So what they ultimately agreed to is this compromise, that the one lease was coming due next year, they'll pull it out, and they agreed to knock off 4 years of the other lease. The settlement agreement provides that if they do not take them out on time, and if we have to go to court, we're entitled to an injunction and all of our attorney's fees. So we think this is a good settlement. We think it's a way to save the village a lot of money and time in pulling these billboards from the landscape. They've been there a long time. You probably have gotten used to seeing them, but in the grand scheme of things, 1 year is going to go by pretty quickly, and you're not going to spend any money removing these things in the end.
Are either one of them in the right of way?
No, private property.
They're all
Private property, yeah.
So how does that work? Do they rent?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, they're leased.
Oh,
Correct.
yeah, they lease the ground.
they lease the ground. Okay.
Yeah, and they're very valuable to these companies, right? They get
Yeah.
a real good ground lease, and then they sell advertising space many times for years and years and years. And it's just an endless flow, which is why Clear Channel fights these things.
Sure.
So we're real happy that we were able to
Yeah.
come to this conclusion
Yeah.
at in a pretty inexpensive way.
Yep. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, there are 2 others on Sheridan Road.
Yeah.
One by Jen G's.
There's a
and-
culvert.
Yes.
And one
isn't it?
down toward York House on the
Yeah.
east side. Are those,
Those aren't Clear Channel, right?
So
are they being?
the one by Gen G's, I'm in discussions with the current owner. They'll be having that removed by the spring, God willing.
They did,
Uh,
and they did get an extension initially.
They did.
for that one.
That is correct,
Yep.
Mayor. And so they've been very responsive. They have a contractor lined up. They were actually going to try to move on it within the next couple of weeks here. Snow is kind of putting a damper on some of that, but they're still set. They have to have it removed before our April adjudication hearing date. So I give them a few months, obviously, to work with the weather. The last one that the Gojo sign, that's the only other one. I had been in discussions with them for quite some time. They've also made an argument that they've maintained the sign and made repairs to it after us notifying them of issues with it. So we have to work that out. But once I think we got Clear Channel settled, we can work with the little guys and get that done.
Yep.
Great,
Thank you.
good.
Any other discussion? We do need a motion for this resolution approving a settlement agreement with Clear Channel.
So move. Second.
I'm going to give this one to trustee Miller and the second to trustee Gus. We're going to have to get you guys paddles or something.
Yeah.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. Roll call, please.
Trustee Jensen.
Aye.
Trustee Miller.
Aye.
Trustee Wells. Trustee Gus.
Aye. Motion carries. Anything else from staff tonight? Our administrator is out of town for enjoying a little family vacation, so
Already probably mentioned, or I don't know if you were, Green Bay Road, the barn's gone.
yes.
All right.
We are completely done with that project. So we are going to be working with our attorneys to lien the property accordingly for expenses. And then we're set for February 28th, if I remember correctly, for that
Okay.
hearing date.
And that was how many years in the making?
4+.
Yep.
At least,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes. Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
Oh, yeah. It looks a lot better.
You can't even tell where it was.
No, no. So, good. All right, we have no old business. Is there any new business to come before the board tonight? All right, well, we're to that aforementioned citizens wishing to address the board. Friendly reminder that we have a 5-minute time limit, but please, anyone wants to come up, just give us your name and state your case.
My name is Mike Street. I provided the village clerk with a little background information. I am your Benton Township trustee. Been on the board for 8 years. And just wanted to introduce myself. I am running for the position of township supervisor. And Supervisor Booth has asked me, I tried getting him to stand, but he was done. And he asked me to consider running, so I am a lifelong area resident.
Yep.
I've been in the beach park a lot, but mostly fighting fires down here. Lifelong fireman with Zion and with Bartlett. Chief there for 16 years, but I enjoy working with the public, and I want to carry on what we've done out in the Benton Township office for the last 8 years.
Yep.
I talked with the former supervisor, Janet Southern. She was well.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to introduce myself, and that gives you a little information on that, and I thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. And if you hang around and if anybody wants to,
My info's on
yep,
there. Just want to give you a little background information.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
All right. My name's Dan Rixey. I've been a member of this village since it incorporated. I'm running for the vacancy of the trustee's position. I was on the planning board here in the mid-90s for 3-4 years, whatever. I enjoyed my time here. I recently retired fully back about a year ago. 35 years driving a truck, and plus I've dealt with the village through the car shows and stuff like that. Everything like that. So basically, I'm not looking to buck the system or anything like that. My biggest thing, when it comes to commercial vehicles in these driveways and stuff like that throughout the village, I don't want to see us become like Waukegan. It's pretty bad when you go down in a area of the town and then that's all you see is commercial vehicles. You think you're in a corporate center or something like that with all these vehicles.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to see that happen to our village. And that's why I'm pushing for this. And, I don't care. The same thing, and I always kind of wondered about all these motorhomes. Same thing in these driveways, If put up a building or park them in a garage or something like that. But that's another thing, if you've got trailers or something, I don't mind them being in the back of your property or something like that. But when it comes to being in your driveway, and you get people coming into your village all the time, and they see this, and it's nothing but clutter.
Yeah.
And and that's why I'm just kind of. I know it's only a 2-year spot, but
Yeah.
I figured I'd give it a shot.
Good deal.
All right.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
You bet. Anyone else? All right. Well, we have no cause for an executive session tonight.
In which case, Mayor, I'd like
Yes.
to offer a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by trustee Gust. Any discussion on this motion? Anyone want to drag it out any longer? All in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Sure.
Absolutely.
How do you like them?
They work okay.